Hey, yeah, what's poppin', gang? All right, man, we back. It's Monday. And this topic today is kind of alarming, man. It's kind of alarming, and it's something that I feel like it'd be good to hear from other people that we don't necessarily look to for opinions, or that we don't just get opinions from often, even like myself, right? So like I kind of want to see, what some of the fans that have been following this beef for as long as they've been following the beef, and I feel like it's even bigger than that at this point. Like I almost feel like the beef is so far removed now. We're just starting to see the party dying and character flaws being revealed. Before we get into the video, man, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, man. We super close to 50K, so I definitely can't do it without each and every one of you. But I woke up to Twitter today. Actually, I have not seen anything about this. I made a post this morning in reference to Wale's album, because bro, respectfully, he reposted the work that we did on the album. If you haven't seen that, check that out. And I came across something that I felt was really interesting. It's a little sad. Well, it's not a little sad. It's very sad, but it's definitely interesting to see the lengths that people will go. One, I feel like, to cause disruption, because I think that's what's really happening. Is there's a lot of disruption, there's a lot of rage baiting, and I think the issue is not where it's coming from, but why? But why? So we're gonna get into a couple of different. Creators here, or I guess I say a lot of these are voices in hip hop. A lot of these are voices in hip hop, but a lot of these are pages that we have seen and that we look to. There's gonna be a lot of revelations here. So apparently, I guess I'm not, like I said, I'm not avidly on Twitter like that, but apparently an update went through, or you're now able to see where people are from when they when they're making their posts, or if they've changed their names on Twitter. So basically there's history. No matter what they say, it gives you a location of where they're from in Twitter now. So the basic issue is the discourse around the Kendrick Lamar fans and Drake fans. And I've even seen Not Like Us being thrown around as this xenophobic song, as if it's not like us, as in, there's an issue with outsiders. And it was never about, it was, in my opinion, personally, you can let me know how you feel about it in the comments, it was never about that. Not Like Us was more of a cultural hip hop. It's just not like that, man. So we're gonna take a look at a couple of posts. So and this is one post that I kind of agree with, because I'm seeing a little bit of this, notion that because you are not an American, basically you can't speak on certain things. I don't wholeheartedly agree with that. I believe you can absolutely share your opinion. I believe you can absolutely express your sentiments, your feelings on a subject, on a topic, but I don't think you can get in there, weasel in, slither around, and then try to spin and create narratives without more than a basic understanding and context. I think Deleted said it the best in one of his videos from a while ago. I don't remember which video it was, but it was like, if I go to my friend's house and his mother is preparing spaghetti, I believe this is what he said, and they're Italian family and they're preparing spaghetti or something like that. I don't have the right to then go in there and critique the spaghetti and the meatballs. I could not like it, but I can't tell you this is how you should have prepared it better. I just can't. I can't go in there. That's your thing. Feel me? So Dog Ninja says, not gonna lie, this is when things get a little xenophobic, respectfully. The problem isn't people from around the world giving their rap takes. It's not. The problem should be when people from other from accounts overseas try and dictate what rap music should look like, should sound like, and our vocal hip hop culture without any ties to Black American culture. So again, it's not that you can't enjoy it. It's not that you can't speak on it. It's not that you can't have an opinion. It's the dictating and rage baiting. And I think that's another thing that we have to talk about is whenever you monetize something, you will have people doing their damnness to be paid. So if you get, I don't even know how Twitter monetization works, but you know, if it's the amount of views, if it's the amount of impressions or whatever, you're gonna say something to try to get as many people looking at your page as possible. And a lot of times that's when you're starting a fire and creating a unhealthy discourse, or you're saying something completely outrageous. So then he goes to say, I follow this account and they are genuinely a fan of hip hop music and really only discuss music they personally like. And I think he highlights that the fact that he's from Jordan. So if you're unfamiliar, this is what it looks like at this point, right? So it tells you where you joined. It tells you where the account is based in. Now, let's move on. Jalopy said another thing, right? Nothing wrong with appreciating music no matter where you're from, and I 1000% agree. But it was niggas from Serbia arguing with me about Black American culture as if it don't matter. That's the issue. It's not that you love hip hop and rap from Serbia. Is you then try to tell me about something that I know about. Like I could never tell a doctor how he should have performed a procedure if I've never performed a procedure, if I've never done it before. Sometimes you got to break it down in like different terms for people to really understand that. If you're not from here, you don't understand the nuances, you have blind spots. And a prime example, even on a smaller level, is I think people's outside of the US depiction of Americans in general. Like I've seen videos, and of course that's my narrow scope, I'll admit. But I've seen videos where it's like everybody's fat, everybody owns a pew, we're dumb, you know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, some of that might be true, but the overall view of what it's, and even on the more positive side, like if you're leaving your really terrible situation from whatever country you're in, and you come here and believe that you are now going to be blessed, the streets are paved with gold, that's not what it's like. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like you don't understand the nuances and you definitely have blind spots. I agree with the homie Jalopy here. Now, let's take a look at this, because this is something that's very interesting, okay? These are Drake's biggest fan pages that have been spamming my page for 2 years now, calling me racial slurs, Indian, African, white, a bot, etc. Seems like they've been projecting this whole time, and OVO's got a bot farm of pages to spam people for $7 an hour. And honestly, I don't care where people are from, but when y'all been attacking people for 2 years, saying Harriet Tubman music, slave music, and using racial slurs, yeah. And you can just see where all of these accounts are from. Again, it does not matter where you are from, enjoying the music and sharing your opinion on music and the topics. That's not what it's about. It's when you then start saying crazy stuff, calling people racial slurs, and like I said, rage baiting and speaking on a topic as if you understand it as well. Now you can 100% do your homework. I'm not saying you can't do your homework, right? But there's something to be said about someone who lives something versus reading it and trying to figure it out. So again, man, like I said, I don't have no issue with where nobody is from. That's not even the point. But you can see Zimbabwe, South Africa, West Asia, Israel, United Kingdom, Europe, United Arab Emirates, North America, France, and Australia, which is academics TV being out of Australia is crazy. Now, I think we knew something about this. I don't know if this is as like shocking information, but from the type of uh language that he uses is definitely alarming that a lot of people are even okay with that, right? So Screwface says the people who are cosplaying Americans to cause infighting or pretending to be a whole different race deserve all the slander. That's the point. It's like it's basically it's hiding your IPs. It's basically putting on a mask to cover who you are, to then get all your shit out. Pause. To then go and say all of those really terrible things that may be accepted if you look a certain way, but if you really said how you felt and people didn't think that mask was you, then what? But I will say, some of y'all are just using this as a chance to get, and that's what I've been seeing. I don't disagree. I think there are definitely a certain side of people that I've been seeing, as in just doing some of this research, that are clearly missing the point and missing the message. And I'm going out on record and we're saying that, right? Some of y'all are missing the message. It's not about where people are from. That's not what it's about. It's about being from a place and then arguing points and spewing propaganda about something you have no idea about. It's like people who talk about Chicago, like, and my city is definitely, maybe that's a bad example. Maybe that's a bad example, but people do talk about Chicago in a way as if everywhere you go is like that. And it's not. It's not like that at all. It is like that in certain places, but it's not like that. But being from another place, you don't know that. The same with every other city, or every other state that has, shit that happens in the city. I heard Oakland was one of the most dangerous places in the world. There's places in Texas. Memphis, I'm hearing is a bad spot. Detroit, St. Louis. But again, to the people that live there, it's like it's not what you see, bro. You have to be from here to really understand. And I agree with that. Being in a different country doesn't automatically invalidate your opinion. One more time. On things outside of your country. And if that makes you a culture vulture, then we all are culture vultures. And I agree. We grew up watching anime. Facts. I did too. No, he ain't up there. You might see Frieza up there too. Anime TV shows are playing games made by people in Asia and other places. Some of your wardrobes have been made by white Europeans and we brag about it. Our cars be made by Asians or Europeans and we call them foreigns. And we spend a lot of time eating foods from different. I rarely ever say I have something like an American diet, bro. I eat food from everywhere, bro. Like this, it's not that. They did nothing wrong. It's the bad faith actors who clearly were grifting and rage baiting, as I've been saying, that we should focus on. And I agree. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments, man. But I definitely agree with that. I don't think that it's everybody, but there are some people out here who are really just trying to get their shit off, and they coming off looking like weirdos for making it seem like just because you're from somewhere else, you don't have a say. And this in particular is why it's looked at the way that it is. Bro called him, he said, nah, man, this ninja ugly as F. But as you can see, he said it right here. All right. He's from Israel. But hides behind, but hides behind a completely different, hides behind something else to make it seem like he's not what he is. And that is the issue. Now, if you just said it with your chest, it'd be way different. You said it with your chest, that's who you are, right? Like, then we understand. Crazy, man. Now, on to this whole not like us piece where, like I said, people are trying to make this as not like us is excluding people. It was never about that, bro. I'm seeing owl niggas trying to use not like us as a gotcha against Kendrick fans who are not from the US. Absolutely not. Who is the U.S.? It was never about race, idiots. Clowned his Harper Bazaar interview where he explained it perfectly. The U.S. is universal, literal meaning of Oklahoma. Can I ask you a hyper-masculine question? You can ask me, shut the F up. What does that mean? What does not like us mean to you? Not like us is the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. Now, if you identify with the man that I represent, right? Break the man down for me. This man has morals. He has values. He believes in something. He stands on something. He's not pandering. He's a man who can recognize his mistakes and not be afraid to share the mistakes, and can dig down and deep into the fear-based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. If I'm thinking of not like us, I'm thinking of me and whoever identifies with that. Don't try to shift and spin the narratives, please. And we have another example here, right? OVO is creating a hip hop page and pretending to be from LA. These are the issues that people have. It's not that you are from where you're from. It's you're where you're from, but then you're pretending to be from somewhere else in order to validate what you're saying to people who have no idea. You sound pretty damn validated when you hip hop unison and you're from Los Angeles, California, probably speaking on the beef. But really because if you really believed in what you said and it was gonna stick, then you would just stand 10 toes in where you from and say that, right? But that's not what's being said. That's not what's being said. It's being hidden and then swapped to make it seem like you're from somewhere else to try to validate your opinion a little bit more, right? Curtis King, can't believe I was debating during the battle about culture and regional pride with faceless avatars that weren't even proud of where they're from. And the reason why he's saying that is because you would then just speak from the experience of where you're from. Cosplaying as residents of places they've never been. It all makes sense now. So again, and that brings me to my videos when I drop videos and I'm seeing hate comments and they sound delusional. And we like, what are you talking about? And I've shared them with y'all. And y'all have been like, bro, the Drake fans are delusional. And it's like, oh, it makes sense because maybe they don't necessarily understand exactly what the points we're trying to make when we're making them. And again, I'll play devil's advocate and say there are definitely a lot of people who are not from here who can completely understand what we're saying and be completely in tune and tapped in. But there is a difference when it's how you're brought up culturally. I can't understand other things a lot of times that people do because that's not how I was brought up, bro. That's just not how I was brought up. Like some people use just the soap. Some people use a loofah. Some people use one rag. Some people use two. Some people, feel me? Like it's just different. Some people use nothing, period. Like nothing, just water. So come on, man. All right. Discussions based in respect and logic are welcome. However, no culture has any business infiltrating and attempting to rewrite rules and codes of other cultures foreign to them. The same way I have no right, oh my God, he using this, to walk into a sushi restaurant and speak on their Japanese traditions. I don't know what's hard to understand about that. There's no way, hey man, you should have sliced it like when I'm at the crib and when I'm putting the rice in my rolls, when I'm making the rice on my roll, bro, I use jasmine, dog. They be like, what the fuck is you talking about? What? Nah, bro, get him out of here. Because somebody tried to make it seem like so you believe that those who are not African-American and pure-blooded American don't have the right to discuss hip-hop. No, that's not at all. Discuss it, but understand where the differences are and why I understand it the way that I do and why you understand it the way that you do. Completely differently, right? So then deleted is trolling and saying, how y'all feeling about the biggest hip hop pages being from like Arabia or Europe? I think that's one of the questions that I kind of wanted to hear. And again, that's not just on Drake's side. There are that's everywhere. He even says yay. So some of these the bigger fan pages of all of our, the biggest artists have massive fan pages that are not based in where they're based from. So how do y'all feel about that? I think what happens is there's obviously a fandom at play. And I think that it kind of snowballs. And I think once it snowballs, I think there's a certain image to uphold, and they start losing sight of even just being a fan, and then just start spewing BS. Like I think of some of the Barb's pages, not all. So I think of some of the Barb's pages. I think of the Drake pages. I think of just some of the things that I've seen that end up just not really being about being fans of here, but just hating on everybody else. It's kind of weird, right? Oh yeah, we talked about this already. If this is what I want to leave it on. Great comment from Curtis here. Great comment from Curtis. And as I was seeing this kind of happen, and I was like, yo, it seems like, again, misdirection. It seems like a lot of gaslighting. And it doesn't even seem genuine a lot of times. Like that when you get in these really negative comments and you're, and not even just negative comments, but when you're getting people trying to tell you about something that you're like, bro, what are you talking like? And you sound delusional. It seems like there's an agenda to try to make people see things one way, even though we know it's not that. And then we end up looking, we end up looking like, are we just dumb, or like, are we just dumb, or do we just not understand something? Because maybe I'm seeing it different because you got this whole, all of these people saying something completely different than what I'm saying. So if bots inspire social media arguments, and then those arguments inspire podcast episodes, who has truly been influenced in the pod content and narratives we choose to amplify? That's a great question. That's a great question. But I always stand on not letting anyone, any person, any musician, any podcaster, any social media personality, any YouTuber, any Twitch person, any whatever, not letting anyone else dictate the thoughts that you create with your own brain, bro. If you like the song, you like the damn song. If you hate the song, you hate the damn song. If you don't like, bro, if it's, let it be genuine, let it be natural, and allow yourself to form your own opinions. That's all. If you allow yourself to form your own opinions, you're not being influenced by anybody. Even when we in here and we doing these reviews, and I might not like something, and you really like it, stand on that. If I love it and you don't like it, stand on that. And if we agree, let's stand on that too, right? Let me know how y'all felt about this in the comments, man. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again because I just I want people to understand this is not about discouraging or saying that anyone from any other place cannot have a voice in hip hop. That is not what we're saying. That is not the narrative here. Just please, just be respectful while you're inside the house. That's it. All right, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate the love and support. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. And how did I forget this, bro? I don't even know how I forgot this. This is one of the main topics I wanted to discuss, man. Academics, too. Again, with the narrative shifting type of behavior. Always like that with act, man. And like I said, this has kind of been happening on both sides with this like cosplaying in a sense. And I think that it needs to stop. And I think that with all the information being out there, I do kind of see the conversation shifting a little bit, because before anybody takes what you have to say to heart, they're going to look at how did we get here, right? How did we get here? So Axe says, yesterday I realized N-words in Mumbai, India was on here capping, acting like they from Compton, arguing all day like they pro-black, FBA N-words. N-word, go focus on that. I'm not reading that. Elon, turn on face reveal for all accounts. I'm with it. All right, so you guys can see this here. But casually, just casually forgets to mention everything that's going on here that we talked about already. Just casually forgets to mention all of these pages that are pro Drake pages, and then also his own personal academics TV page, which is based out in Australia. So again, man, I forgot to add that to the video. I think that's something that needs to be talked about as well. The smoke and mirrors is added again, man. Let me know how y'all feel about that. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.